understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, March 9th, 2019. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sarah Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have 6 very busy episodes this week.
Yes, very, very busy. Very busy. I'm sorry. I'm excited, and I'm anxious because I can't talk about Captain Marvel right now because this is a DC show, and Sarah has not seen the movie yet.
So, Ed has seen Captain Marvel. Like, a couple days ago you saw it, right?
Yes, yeah, I saw it. I saw it Thursday after work with our executive producer, Bill Sweeney.
Man, I feel like I'd see movies more quickly if I lived closer to you guys and you just called and said, hey, we're going, you want to go? But no.
Wait,
I
you would go
this afternoon? No. I wouldn't. No, I'd be like, no, that's nice. My pants are off. I'm home. Sorry.
Yeah. You know how many friends I have that I call, hey, you want to do something? And, and then like they tell me weeks later, I wish I would go out with you more often. And then like, yeah, the opportunity's always there.
I probably would have said yes for Captain Marvel because, of course, I'm excited about that. If you've listened to the show for half a second, you know I'm excited about that. But I will hopefully go this afternoon. Ed, tell me, is Goose as good as I expect him to be?
Better.
I came of age in the 90s. I love female superheroes, and I love cats. Am I going to like this movie?
Yeah. That is one cool cat. That is. Yeah. I recommend it. I'm not going to say anything more.
Okay.
Because I can already
podcast.
Yeah, I can already hear Agent Palmer tweeting his complaint.
You're a DC show.
Yes. But we had to get that out of the way. Yeah. Fun stuff going on. How are you doing, Sarah? Anything good? Good?
Busy
All
week.
Right.
Busy week for me. My friend Tanya's staying with me. Always a delight. But it's been busy. So I had actually a lot more company to watch these shows this week than I usually do. Usually it's just me and Jason, but we added Tanya to the mix. So it was good. Good time.
Cool. Fun.
Some of these notes may reflect some Tanya thoughts. So sorry for stealing from you, baby.
All right. Well, we got 6 shows. First full boat we've had in a while, in like a month. You ready to dive right in?
Kind of felt good to be back firing on all cylinders, right?
Yes, it did.
Did you enjoy the just like the thrill of the watch?
Yeah. Having coming home on a Monday and a Tuesday night when there's something to watch. Yeah, I was excited. All right. Let's jump in with our first episode.
Let's do it.
And that is Supergirl, Season 4, Episode 13. What's so funny about truth, justice, and the American way? Manchester Black broke out of prison with his new friends, the Elite, to begin attacking covert military bases and calling out Supergirl on social media. Nia began training with Brainy at the Fortress of Solitude and became frustrated Brainy wasn't more open about with her about the scope of her powers. Lena set up shop at the DEO and expressed her distrust of the government to Alex. After his pardon, Ben Lockwood had a photo op with President Baker and heard concerns from his followers that he was getting soft. Last minute reveal, Ben Lockwood, now the U.S. Director of Alien Affairs, smashed a dissenter to death with his Agent Liberty mask and asked if anyone else wanted a change in leadership.
I hate how much I love watching Ben Lockwood. He's so good. He's so entertaining to watch, but he's so abhorrent. But he's sympathetic. Ed, what are they doing? How did they make this character so compelling?
This is how they get you. This is how they get you, Sarah.
By they, do you mean like neo-Nazis?
Yeah. That was upsetting. It's kind of upsetting that the president's a douche.
And it pains me, Bruce Box. It pains me that you're not a nice dude, but it's okay. You're getting that CW money.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Lot going on. And Manchester Black coming out in full force. We really got to see the Elite and what they're doing and how they work together. There's an animated movie called Superman versus the Elite, which has pretty much this same lineup going up against Superman, and much in the same version, with the animated version. In this one, immediately my favorite of the Elite is Hat.
Oh yeah, yes. First of all, he has Hermione's beaded purse of requirement where she can just he's got everything in there. He's got weapons. He's got booze. Like, I want that guy on a road trip. But yeah, he was posh. He was useful. I really liked him. I could have used even more dialogue from him, a little more interactivity. So I hope I like Menagerie. I like the Hat. I like Manchester Black. The Moraes, Strong but Silent. I love this team, and I hope we get more time with them.
Yes, yes. And especially the thing I like with Hat is I don't even get the sense that he agrees with Manchester, from a philosophy standpoint. He just loves chaos, and
yes,
and and the fact that he can use this as an excuse to inflict it. I think that really what really gets him jazzed.
So what actually I think the strength of this season has been is what I just sort of shouted about, which is, Ben Lockwood, not a nice guy, a super bigot, but, they gave him a backstory that's mildly understanding. It's sympathetic. He's compelling. And then you got Manchester Black, who also, you get where he's coming from, like that the anti-alien sentiment killed his fiance. He wants to combat that. Like, I get that. I sympathize, but you can't do it that way, dude. But they've given these two disparate forces, neither of which we can get on board with, but both of which we understand the roots they came from. And you've put Supergirl in the middle to try to navigate without, if I do this, it looks like I'm supporting this. And if I do that, it looks like I'm supporting that. I don't do either. This is handled much more deftly than I thought it was going to be at the beginning of the season. I was concerned it would be just thudding and obvious. And I think it's actually been really, they've written this really well to sort of give a little bit of shades of gray. I don't know, just well done, Supergirl writers.
Yeah. And Kara really has a difficult choice ahead of her, and this doesn't seem like it's going to be easy to unravel. And we're even if there is a resolution at the end of this season, I'm sure you're going to be feeling the after effects of this for the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, and it actually makes me wonder, what is the solution that Kara is able to find? How does she shut down these two really different threats without lifting one up? I'm genuinely curious, what is the solution that the show is going to write to shut down the bigotry and then shut down the intolerant left, if you will?
Yeah.
How's that gonna? I'm really curious. That I hope they stick the ending.
Yeah. I think it's gonna come down to a hearts and minds issue. We're just basically you've got to find a way to get their followers to abandon them. As much as you may think a lot of people support Ben Lockwood, if they were to see the real him who just smashed that dissenter's face in, I don't think they would be as quick to flock to him. So
I hope not.
Yeah. Real quick, you think it's kind of weird that Lena sets up shop in the DO and says, "I don't trust the government. I mean, I'll take their money, and their research facilities, but I don't really trust these guys."
Yeah, that I wish we'd had maybe a little bit more time with that. That felt a little tacked on. Here I am in a government facility. The liars, I don't trust them. But we came around in the end with I thought Alex's realization that President Baker is doing these things and not telling Haley and not telling me, and we can't trust him either. So I'm all about the Lena Alex alliance there at the end with Eve kind of fluttering in the background. So it's taking us interesting places. But yeah, it is. That just unfolded really quickly. Oh, government bad. Let me cash this check.
Yes. And Nia, Nia's story. She's flocking to training with Brainy, and Brainy's kind of being a jerk.
Yeah. He just can't help it. It's baked into his weird DNA.
Now, one thing we did have a couple of responses to some of the live tweets I was putting out from @DCTV Report. I just basically put out there, why is Brainy so unhappy? Being such a jerk to Kellex 2. And @Lana Solange pointed out he's just jelly.
I mean, I don't think she's wrong.
No.
I did enjoy that fight. Not fight. The sniping. The Brainy versus robot violence.
Yes.
Of words. Very good.
Yeah. And I thought Kellex 2, short circuits in here? This is fun. It's a random character that they threw in. It makes sense, that Superman would have some type of robot AI looking over the fortress, but the fact that he had a personality in here, I thought that was cool.
Okay, answer me this. I was pretty good at math in high school, but I didn't do much with it after high school. If I had taken a differential calculus class, would I know how to fight with my hands behind my back?
Maybe if you can work the angles right.
Because they should put that in the course catalog descriptions on college campuses, if that's the case.
Yeah, it could also do really well at pool. Yeah.
That's just geometry, isn't it? That's just like...
Yeah. One other quick thing. There was a moment in there when I think it was Brainy who was kind of analyzing the Elite, and he suggested that the Hat is working on fifth dimensional tech. And I pointed out that that's the same place that Mr. Mxyzptlk comes from, and I wonder if he's going to be popping up. And Colton Paz pointed out that it has been a while since we've seen him. I don't know. Like, looking back on it now, would first off, Sarah, would you be up for another bout with Mxyzptlk?
Oh yeah, always fun. I like any kind of chaos agent like that.
Yeah. So I don't know if the Hat's just using his tech or if he stole it, and maybe that that's when we'll see him pop up again. But that's something to look out for.
Well, and I also, I can't remember if this was in a Twitter conversation or in the comments on my recap available at EW.com. But the question of the Legion ring is coded to the individual wearer. And so how then was Manchester able to use it? And the answer was the fifth dimensional energy wiped it or reprogrammed it and let Manchester use it. So the fifth dimension seems to be the Jedi hand wave of these are not the plot holes you're looking for.
Yes.
Let Manchester Black fly with his guns.
All right. Cool. Anything else that you wanted to point out for this episode?
Not really. We can move on to news if you're ready.
Go for it.
All right. So little snippets here. This week's episode, the March 10th episode, if you are like me and a devotee / scholar of Mean Girls, you're going to stare at the guest star and wonder, why is he so familiar? That's because it's Jonathan Bennett, a.k.a. Doesn't His Hair Look Sexy push back, is guest starring this week. So just that's more a note for me than for Ed. But that's his, because we reported on that a while ago. Okay. March 17th, that episode, not only are we meeting Lex Luthor, but we will meet James's sister Kelly. So it's a brothers and sisters episode.
Ooh.
And then March 24th, I'm so amused by this. The episode title is The House of L, but that is the letter L. L.
Ah.
So.
Okay.
Kryptonian wordplay.
Mm.
So it sounds like we're going to get, I mean, Ed, to me, it sounds like we're going to get really Lex heavy in these next runs of episodes. Is that kind of what you're picking up on?
Yeah, I'm getting that sense. And I'm anxious and nervous. I don't know what to expect from John Cryer.
Yeah. I just want this to be good. The back half of Supergirl's last season was not as strong as it could have been, and I really want this season to deliver. So,
all right,
being optimistic. And then the finale, the CW released the finale dates for all of its superhero shows, so we will be saying goodbye for the season to Supergirl on May 19th.
All right, cool. And that,
all right,
that's it for the news. And
that is that.
Yeah, and now we're moving on to Arrow. Season 7, Episode 14, Brothers and Sisters. In the future, everyone learned about each other's family trait. In the present, Oliver inserted himself into Amiko's investigation of her mother's murder. Diggle and Lila prepared to send the Ghost Initiative after Virgil and Dante, but became concerned about a mole in Argus. Felicity told Laurel of her plan to blow Diaz's head off and slipped about her pregnancy. Last minute reveal, someone attacked Diaz in his prison cell and set him on fire.
Ed, is that man actually dead?
I think he's...
I don't want to get my hopes up. And I'm sorry, I feel bad, but like, he dead, right?
You know, I think this whole episode was the producers saying, fine. You don't like it?
You didn't like our new toy?
You don't like it? Here. You don't like Diggle working for Argus? Fine, he's out. You don't like Diaz still being alive? All right, fine. You want a different big bad who's, got kind of like a subtle, sexy presence? Here you go. Fine.
Oh, there's nothing subtle about his sexy presence if you're talking about Adrian Paul, because I have things to say about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you things about Adrian Paul. He looks amazing in this, the year of our Lord 2019. His voice is the same. It is seductive velvet. And he jumped off a balcony backwards and tossed knives. Everything about his appearance was amazing. Thank you, Arrow. I am back on board. You got me. I'm hooked.
Yeah, and I think they pulled everyone in. Just I think that's, like, oh, they fixed it. Oh, that's fine. And like, Renee and Dinah are there, but not really doing anything, and that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
We've got these flash forwards, and okay, all right. So I guess Mia and William are going to be working together now. So I guess we have a family again. So that's fine.
No, it's still not fine. It's still not fine that this is the first time they're meeting. It's still not fine that they're both so angry with their parents. That's not fine. That will never be fine.
Yes.
But I'm glad things are moving forward.
Yes. And I'm sorry I was so brisk in my description of that storyline, but that's pretty much all that happened, was that they just...
Oh, yeah. That could have been covered in a 3-minute scene, could it not?
Yeah. It was Mia saying, I'm your sister, and like William... I'm sorry, not Connor Hawke saying, yeah, I'm Diggle's adoptive son, which adoptive. Okay.
Yeah, I have questions about that.
Yeah. And then she runs off and he says, yeah, but like, we're siblings. Could we hang out? And she said, fine. That's it.
The end. Move on. More Adrian Paul.
Yes. More Adrian Paul. Well, more Adrian Paul and no more Ricardo Diaz.
I will say, Ricardo Diaz saying "no prison can hold me" got a big audible groan from my living room. This is where adding another person to the watching mix made it delightful, because there were three of us saying, "Shut up!"
So I'm guessing you cheered. Now, we have a theory. Yeah. We have a theory about Diaz's death from @Molly2910, who says it's nice to see the return of the lighter Dragon used to light up his bully in season 5. In season 6. I don't know how Earth 2 Laurel got a hold of it, but good girl, bye-bye Mumblemouth. It's okay to be celebrating, right?
I didn't mumble mouth. Sorry. I thought about that too. The lighter comparison with what he did to his bully. I do think it's, they left it kind of mysterious, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay if we spend some time figuring out who did it, because that is a mystery I'm excited to have to answer.
Yes.
Yeah, who killed him? I mean, let's talk about how Diaz died for a while. Yeah. Because it happened, and that's the important thing.
Yes, yeah. And, we got to see the Ghost Initiative, Suicide Squad, in action. And,
Task Force X. Yes. No. I'm sorry, no.
Yeah. No, it's the Ghost Initiative. Diaz pretty much sold them out right away, to Dante. And, that was, so I thought that was a cool scene. And Diggle's been kind of annoying for for pretty much this entire season. And, he decided to fall on his sword to save Lila, which, I don't really think that the government would have let him do that. I think they probably would have still fired Lila. But
yeah, the buck does stop with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was. If it kind of moves that storyline along and gets Diggle out of short sleeve dress shirts, I'm in favor of that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have questions about Argus's security measures. So if they're out in the world, they're just wandering free, but in prison, they're cuffed. Shouldn't it be the reverse of that?
Yeah.
Why, if you trust him out in the world, maybe don't cuff him with that. I don't know.
I mean, you have the exploding brain implants to begin with. So yeah, I think those kind of act as cuffs, although
as handcuffs.
Yeah. Didn't really help that much. But that was good. I'm trying to think what else we had going on in here.
Felicity and Laurel. We have to do Felicity and Laurel real quick.
Yes.
Okay. If you know you're pregnant, I don't know. Don't you tell your husband/partner, I don't know, as soon as you can. Don't wait for the right time. Don't not bring it up. Don't tell Laurel. Just, well, tell Oliver.
It kind of slipped out. And I don't know if, I think she had the feeling that she was pregnant. I don't know if she had been to a doctor and confirmed it yet. Maybe that's what she was waiting for, to tell Oliver, but...
No, she got that phone call 2 episodes ago.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was confirmed. She knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the kind of thing, well, he's busy. I don't want to bother him.
Oh, my God.
I don't want to worry him.
Look, if things are going to happen for Oliver the way we think they're going to happen for Oliver, we'll talk about that in a second. He needs as much happiness right now as he can get. So even waiting a day to tell him feels cruel. So let him have this joy.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Oliver, I thought he was a really bossy brother this episode, just kind of butting his nose in Miko's business.
Yeah, I get why she's like, nah, I don't need this, dude. Please, let me do my thing. I've got my wall of weird. I'm gonna do my stuff. I don't need you.
Yeah. And of course, it turns out she's working with Dante. And
I will be curious. I'm glad, because it keeps him in the storyline, and I will be curious if this is a double cross thing with her and him, or if, I don't want her to double cross Oliver. I believe that they'll bring her into the fold by the end of the season, but I'm interested in this. Arrow, I'm interested in this storyline.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing it's more of a thing where like she doesn't realize what Dante's real plan is. She's just using him because he's helping her, get everything together. Sort of in the same way Nora and Thawne are working together on Flash. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting turn. But I do feel like Oliver and Amiko are getting closer, which is something that I thought was good for this episode.
And I do like that it's not easy. And they're making Oliver work for it. So I think it's nice that we're seeing this unfold in a way that isn't after school special. Like, oh, and now we all get along. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to know what corporate businesswoman Laurel ripped that shoulder pad jacket off of when she went back in time to 1991. Because that thing was broad at the beam and nipped at the waist in a way that I have not seen since early in the Clinton administration. So,
wow.
That might be Bush 1 administration.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not notice.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
There you go. All right. I think we've been avoiding the inevitable. I think it's time to talk about the news.
All right. Well, it's been a good run, but this week the news broke that the next season of Arrow, season 8, will be its final season, and it will be a shortened season with only 10 episodes. Ed, what are your thoughts?
Well, I can't say I'm surprised. I think we I kind of had a feeling going in that season 7 may be Arrow's last. I am a little surprised that they're only doing 10 episodes, and that it's in the fall, which means that it's Crisis on Infinite Earths is probably going to be a big culmination point. It is sad, but I think it's time.
When I tweeted about it this week, my response was it's disappointing but not surprising. This has been a show I've enjoyed and struggled with, but mostly enjoyed. And so anytime a show you enjoy ends, it's sad. But I feel like Stephen Amell is ready to be done and move on. I don't think that the new characters they've introduced are necessarily clicking in a way that you want to necessarily, and they might try to spin it off, but we'll see what they do. It's time. We've seen arcs, we've seen growth. I am concerned that based on the events of the last crossover, where it looked like Oliver struck a deal, that if the show does end on or around the crossover, that it is what people have been sort of speculating and talking about for months and months now, which is Oliver Queen dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths. That seems to be the thing that the signs are pointing to, and a 10 episode run makes sense for that. And boy, I don't want that to happen. That is not the end I want for my Oliver Queen.
Yeah, it's it's we did have some responses from our listeners. Our buddy Steph from Gotham Lights at Bad Wolf Bay 87 had no remorse and pointed out as a positive, one less show to review for us.
She gets it. She gets the viewing pressure.
At Southern Siren said, I'm not ready to say goodbye to Felicity, Oliver, and Dig. It's the only CW show I watch. I'll miss it immensely. I don't see Flash lasting much longer either. And at River8878 says, no, what does this mean for the other shows and rumors? And to answer that quickly, he says, nothing is confirmed. We don't know. All this means is that Arrow is ending.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would think if the other thing, you'd heard rumors about was maybe Legends ending as well. They haven't said anything about that, and if they're announcing this about Arrow now, you kind of would think they'd make an announcement about Legends too, if that was the case. But, the CW works in mysterious ways. We'll have to see. But right now, Arrow is the only thing that's confirmed. Although while we're talking about rumors, we got this reported rumors that Katie Cassidy is planning to leave the Arrowverse this year for good. Again, sketchy rumor, but we got this covered was one early on that was saying season 8 would be Arrow's last season. So I'm not believing that until I see it reported in bigger sites or with more firm sourcing. But that is another one of this cavalcade of rumors, one of which has proven to be true so far. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Was there any other?
And one more little bit of news. Ernie Hudson is going to guest star in an upcoming episode as a general that John Diggle knows. So that'll be fun.
Winston, yay!
So look forward to that. And the finale of Arrow will air on May 13th.
Okay. All right, May 13th. All right. It's time to move on. Next up.
Okay.
Next show up is Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 14, The Book of Secrets, Chapter 4, Original Sin. While trying to make sense of the voices in his head, Lala shot Jefferson in his classroom and asked for answers about young Earl's murder. Jennifer bugged Gamby about the design of her supersuit. Anissa followed leads looking for Grace. Gamby and Henderson figured out Todd's connection to Tobias and then found out Todd was dead. Lynn talked back to Agent Odell and refused to push Wendy's powers too harshly. Last minute reveal, Agent Odell killed his own surveillance team and watched the Pierce family through a hidden camera as they posed for a selfie.
And I'm starting to think Agent Odell is not a nice guy.
Yeah, no, I kind of had that feeling early on.
So, full disclosure, I mentioned this to Ed off air. My CW kept interrupting the show with commercials and promos, airing over things they shouldn't be. So I had kind of a disjointed viewing experience on this. Frustrating. And it mostly happened during the Lynn stuff for some reason. So.
Oh, okay.
Misogyny.
Yeah. Damn. So, yeah, first she talked back, and then later on, Odell had them push Wendy to the limit and wouldn't let Lynn in to see her. So, yeah. Wendy's having a rough time, and Lynn's really upset about it. That's pretty much the deal.
See, I knew you'd help me out. But I think most of the Lala stuff, it was great to see him back. I have missed him. Yeah.
It was, I kind of thought at the end of this season that we were done with Lala, that.
Yeah, I was really surprised. But God, how sad. I didn't think I'd say this, but poor Lala.
Yeah.
Free him or let him die.
That was heartbreaking, and then to see his story and to see how confused he was and those voices, he is tortured. And those scenes really brought me back to season 1. And not that the show's bad, but I feel like it started out as this really grounded kind of, street level stuff. And as we've brought more and more of the sci-fi elements, it's been getting bigger and bigger. And I thought this brought us back down to earth a little bit.
Yes, agreed. I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. The pods and the government conspiracies and things like that does sort of fling it into a different realm. And Lala's a nice reminder that that's the strength of season 1, was the recognizable struggles. And I don't know, my child's a pod captive of a government agency isn't necessarily I don't know. I don't want to speak into his experiences. Maybe your child is a captive of a pod government conspiracy.
Yeah. And, the tragedy here, where Lala doesn't remember what happened, and he's trying to put the pieces back together, and he has all of these things coming at him at once, and, realizing like the harsh reality of his situation made him feel like, the only way to keep his friend Earl safe was to actually kill him himself rather than let Tobias capture and torture him. You know, and like when he walks out into that hallway and Earl's ghost, you know, sort of runs at him and turns into that cloud of dust and becomes a tattoo on Lala's stomach. That was,
and it hurts him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's wow. I was very impressed. And it's also kind of like I love how those scenes were sort of bubbled off from the rest of the show. They didn't, you know, when he showed up, like, you know, pretty much the whole first you know, act before the prologue, but it was the kind of thing where like those like 3 scenes, they had the time to breathe. You know, it didn't feel rushed. It's like, okay, now we're with Lala and Jefferson. We've got to let this run its course. And it, you know, I really like the way they let the drama kind of roll itself out instead of just like pushing it out and throwing it at us.
Yes, agreed. And as always, the show gave us light moments too. I liked Jennifer's costume design notes that she gave Gamby. I mean, that added a brightness to it. Of course, you do have the her almost burning up in Gamby's capsule. That wasn't good.
No.
But that always is fun. And as always, this show just nails family life. The 2 Pierce women, Lynn and Jennifer, getting home, the first thing they do is take off their shoes. Yeah, been there. Moving around, getting dinner. It's just seamless. Nobody has to really talk about, you get the plates, you do this. They just do it. I don't know, just those family scenes, the sister scenes, the mom and daughter scenes, all of those are always so pitch perfect. And I just love how the show handles that. I think for me, that's the favorite part of this show is the Pierce family dynamic is beautiful and perfect. And I love it.
Yeah. And the one person we haven't brought up yet is Anissa. And she found Grace, sort of. Yeah. So yeah, she found her hiding in her brother's apartment. And we found out Grace can shapeshift, and she can fight back to Thunder just as hard. Yeah.
I still feel like that relationship hasn't been handled, that the romance angle hasn't been handled as well. Grace has never felt like an easy partner in that. And so for Anissa to keep kind of tracking her down, I know she's concerned, but at the same time, I kind of feel like Grace is just not that into you. Is that just me?
Oh, no. I felt that way the whole time. I've kind of joked. I always kind of thought Grace was in that relationship against her will.
Yeah, I just wish they showed, or maybe that's what they're trying to show, but in which case they're making the lead character seem kind of controlling and stalkery.
Yeah.
I just wish this had been a more solid relationship, that then when Grace leaves, Anissa's heartbroken. That just the way it's put together makes me a little uneasy about the dynamics.
Yeah. And I'm kind of confused as to where this is going to go from here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does Anissa, I mean, she's not going to drop it, but yeah. And we only have 2 more episodes to figure it out.
Yeah. 2 more weeks. Yeah. So that's a lot to get through. All right. Was there is there anything more that you wanted to say about the episode? I know there's no news for Black Lightning.
No, just thanks a lot, my local CW, for making this hard for me to enjoy. You jerks.
All right. And next up is The Flash, Season 5, Episode 15, King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd. Eager for a guinea pig, the team offered the metagene cure to King Shark and stumbled into an evil plot from Gorilla Grodd. Joe got home from Tibet, and Iris hung out with him because she was afraid to go back to her office. Last minute reveal, Barry suggested offering the meta cure to Cicada.
Joe West is back!
Yay!
Joe West!
Yes.
So, I thought this episode, delightful, of course, King Shark, Gorilla Grodd. But this worked so well as a kind of standalone story that also moved the overall plot forward. it was sort of cheesy green screen acting, and everybody felt a little bit dialed up in their goofy responses. But I enjoyed the heck out of this episode. How about you?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun romp. You had some fun moments. It ended with a giant video game fight. It's kind of weird because like the graphics in it were really good, but also like just like you could tell like, okay, this is taking place at night because you want to hide some stuff in the shadows. But I thought they did a great job building up to that fight and to give it that dramatic weight that it needed. I mean, they humanized King Shark, which I didn't really think was possible.
Well, they literally humanized him.
Yeah, they literally humanized him, but they gave him a love interest. The wife of his character from Earth 2 is, working with.
Hey, real quick, I want to talk about the ethics of marrying your dead husband's other Earth doppelganger. Like, isn't that the best thing you could do, or is that the worst? Like, I genuinely don't know.
Well,
if that's the most respectful thing or not.
Well, I think it's a happy ending and avoiding the problem at the same time.
It did feel like arbitrary science nonsense that him choosing to turn back into King Shark means he can never be cured. Okay, arbitrary science.
Oh, yes. Yeah. There was a lot of that this episode. There was a lot of convenient stuff that was going on. Also, the whole idea where Sherlock was hanging out with Tanya, I think was her name. The whole episode, just kind of like talking about, isn't this kind of strange? Like basically getting her to admit that she loves that she loves King Shark. I thought that was really weird and creepy and.
Yes.
Yeah, basically this whole episode was really weird and awkward, except we got to see King Shark fight Gorilla Grodd, so it's okay.
Yeah, a lot of the kind of cheesy acting and the silly science of it. Are you saying his mind is becoming more shark-like? Doesn't matter, because it was just such a ridiculous episode. My Tanya, who was watching it with me, says, they're going to have a couple of bottle episodes now to make up for this budget, right? So. Also, Cisco punching Barry just seems way overdue. Yeah, that's been coming. I don't care if it was Gorilla Grodd's influence. That's been coming.
All right.
And, no, when King Shark got flipped onto his back and couldn't fight. Oh, man. So good. Also, this whole, King Shark didn't give us permission to give the metagene cure. No human subjects committee. There's no IRB that you have to worry about. If a big mad shark is attacking me and he's got legs, please give him the metagene cure without his permission. Don't get all mopey like Barry did. Come on, Barry.
Come on, Barry.
Yeah. And Nora was fine this week, whatever. But I did like her. The Flash Museum straight up got a lot of things wrong.
Yes. One thing I was not as into this week was the Joe and Iris storyline.
Yeah, for all that I was excited Joe was back, I don't care about Iris's office. No.
Because kind of you don't really need an office. I haven't seen any employees at that place.
Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your office is CC Jitters. What's the coffee shop there? That's your office.
Yeah.
You don't need an office.
Yeah. It's I mean, that lease must. I don't care what kind of discount he had. If you're leasing office space in any metropolitan city, that's expensive.
Oh yeah, she's not even doing the office share thing. That's her office.
Yeah.
How are they? Yeah. That's all I have to say about Iris this week.
Okay. But we got King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd.
We did. And I tried to hold off, but King Shark human version, attractive. Well done. Good casting.
Yeah.
That's a rugged man. Yow.
Yeah.
It was tragic to see that turn back into a shark.
Yes. A couple tweets that we did have at Bauer Fett is Shark versus Griddled. All I could say is, let's get ready to rumble. And a fun little gif there. And at Deke273, oh, Joe West, how we've missed you on The Flash. So wonderful to have Jesse L. Martin back on the show. He definitely brings a lot of heart to the show. I'm sure others would agree.
Yes. So I hope for good things for Joe in upcoming episodes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. What else? I think that's it, right? I mean,
news.
Yeah, this was really quick, but like, there's not much to say.
Yeah, this one was a little less multiple storylines interweaving the way some of the other episodes were, which is fine. It was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. News-wise, not really news, but another rumor that has been circulating. At the Vancouver Fan Expo this past week, Carlos Valdez was asked straight up, "Are you leaving The Flash after this season?" And he avoided answering. He sort of shoved the donut in his mouth and said, "Can't talk, eating donuts." So he had the chance to say, "No, I'm staying." So either he is going or he wants to play with the answer and surprise people either way. So he's going, right, Ed?
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling.
Yeah, kind of me too.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And if he does, we've got the date for the finale of The Flash, and it is May 14th.
All right.
So that might be the end. We don't know. Yeah.
All right. Next episode is Gotham. Season 5, Episode 9, Legend of the Dark Knight, The Trial of Jim Gordon. After being shot, Jim dreamt he was on trial for his life's work. Harvey scrambled to keep Gotham under control while he tracked down who shot Jim. Bruce and Selina's fancy date was interrupted by Ivy and her plan to keep Gotham a no man's land. Last minute reveal, after being jilted by Jim, Babs became more determined than ever to leave Gotham with Penguin.
So, did Babs really do all that to prove that she was good to Jim, to kind of maybe try to win Jim? Because if so, my heart breaks for Babs.
Yeah.
Who looks fabulous, as always.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was kind of sad. But let's be real here. Like, it's gonna be really hard for Jim to trust her, and I don't really think he knows that she did any of that because he was in a coma, dreaming he was on trial.
Prosecuting himself in a subtle metaphor.
Yeah. That I mean, I think the dream trial. I understand like the idea. I wasn't so pleased with the execution of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Concur. I never liked dream sequences. I'm on record with that. I didn't think this was particularly we know he blames himself for what happened at Haven. We don't really need to see that. I would rather have been in the present with things unfolding than in Jim's head.
Yeah. The one thing I thought was interesting is him being in a coma caused Lee to kind of think back on her relationship with Jim and draw the completely wrong conclusion that they should get married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the heart wants what the heart wants, but baby, did it really want that?
Yeah. I mean, this wedding is a complete mistake, other than the fact that Harvey did an amazing job officiating. He gave the best speech. The best man speech you could ever hope for. I thought that moment was great. It felt unscripted. I feel like Donald Logue probably just wrote that whole thing.
I hope so.
I hope he probably didn't, but I hope so.
Well, and if it makes you feel better, it's probably not legal. I mean, is City Hall operating?
Oh, yeah. But the power invested in me by absolutely nobody.
Yeah, okay.
And of course, Bruce feels the moment to steal the light, to steal the thunder and try to make a scene by kissing Selena.
I don't care. Batcat forever. Don't care. Batcat.
So yeah.
Okay, let me tell you, watching this episode with somebody who doesn't watch Gotham was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I don't understand. The bridges are gone, and so it's just cut off? Are there no boats? Just get on a boat. You can take boats from one side or the other side. Boats go both ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you tell her the time Penguin tried that?
I didn't get into the whole sordid history.
Yes.
I just was excited that Victor Zsasz was in this episode because he's always, Victor Zsasz, mutant leader.
Oh, yes. And Victor Zsasz under Ivy's influence. I think that was that was even more fun.
I will say I liked seeing the wake in his Jim's dream sequence, because we got the pig.
Oh, yeah. We got to see a bunch of older villains that we haven't seen in a while. But yeah, Professor Pig was in there. You had Nigma playing the piano, the whole celebration going on, while Harvey drinks a Mai Tai. Yeah, that was a fun visual. So lot of interesting stuff going on. I thought this was the one time we saw Poison Ivy actually be a proper villain. And I thought she was a legitimate threat. This was an exciting episode, and I mean for a while I was worried when Lee shot her that she might have killed Ivy, but it's that can't happen. At least she subdued her. My favorite who was your favorite person under Ivy's spell? Zsasz is cool, but I really thought Lucius was funny.
Lucius, yeah, no, he was funny.
Ivy sprayed you with perfume. Ivy wouldn't do that to me. I'm trying to figure out how he even met Ivy.
Yeah, we haven't gotten enough Lucius this season, and that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a couple episodes since he showed up. But yeah. All right. So we're moving right along. We've got 3 episodes left.
Okay, where did the flowers come from for the fake wedding? If the city's cut off, where did the flowers come? I've been objecting to hair gel for a while now. Where did the multiple elaborate bouquets of fresh flowers come from?
Oh, that was all Ivy's doing while she was taking over the precinct. I think that might be half the reason they held the wedding, because it's I mean, we locked her up and everything, but this does look nice. It would be a waste for someone not to get married with the way she dolled this place up. That's my thoughts. Was there any news for Gotham?
Nope. It's just keeping on rolling toward its end game.
All right. So, wow, we are moving right along, and we're coming into our last episode. It is Doom Patrol, Season 1, Episode 4, Cult Patrol. Willoughby Kipling showed up at the mansion and enlisted the Doom Patrol's help in stopping the Cult of the Unwritten Book from using a boy named Elliot to destroy the universe. Larry learned that the Chief and the Negative Man were keeping secrets from him. Crazy Jane's personalities did not trust Clift after his outburst in Paraguay. Rita felt Vic was excluding her from the team's search for the Chief. Last-minute reveal, our heroes walked outside to find the D Creator's eye in the sky.
I was all about this episode. This episode hit with me. It was delightful. I loved this episode.
Yeah, this really was all over the place. This was wow. It's really funny. I'm sure Willoughby Kipping is probably a character from the comics, but you could really tell, like, we can't use John Constantine.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
He's such a stand-in. All right, so let's find somebody who's also a chain-smoking Brit, but maybe give him a little bit of a pot belly and a beard. Throw him out there.
Okay, so forgive me because this is going to be talking to a slice of the fandom here, probably just a small slice, but this Mark Crowley, who played Kip, or as Rita says, Kip, was Crowley the King of Hell on Supernatural for many, many, many seasons. And this episode of Doom Patrol felt like a Supernatural episode, but much weirder. But this occult, world-ending, evil parents, scary kid, all of it, very Supernatural. When you have Mark Sheppard in there sounding and talking like the King of Hell Crowley, it just drops you into it, for me and listeners who also watch Supernatural and Doom Patrol, into a headspace where all of this makes sense. It just worked. It makes sense because Jeremy Carver is a producer on this, was a producer on Supernatural. So this felt like a Supernatural episode with just different characters, and that's why it resonated so well with me, I think. So you've got that plus the Constantine vibe. It was amazing. I loved it. Yes, bring on the giant eye. Bring on the Uncreator. That was fabulous. Singing Ghost Railroad Spike Horsehead. Yeah. Giant clowns. No. I'm with Cliff. Everything was great. I don't know. I'm just talking in exclamation marks because it just worked so well for me. So explain to me the snow globe.
Yeah, that was a weird kind of like almost like like the end shot of Men in Black, some kind of weird moment where they end up in Nuremberg, and it turns out Nuremberg is actually a snow globe on the Chief's piano. I don't know. I think that's the kind of thing where it turns out, the Chief was prepared for this, and the fact that he's disappeared somewhere inside that donkey is really, really disturbing. I thought that whole thing. I don't know. I don't know what this means. At least it potentially could be a lot easier for everybody to find Jane and Cliff,
because it is in the living room.
Yes.
That was surprisingly Saint Elsewhere-ish /
yes,
the end of the weird Italian 90s movie Cemetery Man, which nobody but me has seen. But yeah, the snow globe is, yeah. I don't know. I hope they take it with them if they leave. So you've got,
yeah.
And I hope the giant clowns piece out, because again, upsetting. I cannot emphasize that enough.
You weren't into the Archons?
Edward, giant clowns.
Yeah.
And one of them dead with his throat slit. It's so upsetting.
Yeah. It was. It's the kind of thing where like, oh yeah, we're on this mission. We're trying to, but I feel I love how everyone in the Doom Patrol is still dealing with their own baggage as they go through this adventure.
Yes.
Like Cliff and Jane are trying to track down Nuremberg and trying to find this priest so they could sew up his stigmata wounds. And Jane is, or all of Jane's personalities are trying to explain to Cliff, that they don't trust him because they think he's dangerous.
And that
also,
last scene where they see each other as they see each other, I thought was great.
Yeah. And that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yep.
Totally.
And we got to meet Penny Farthing.
Yeah, but another one of the personalities. Yeah. There's so much. I feel like I need that diagram that she drew for the Chief to keep track of all of her personalities and like what their powers are, or if they have powers. Yeah, all that. And Larry learning, at first you thought like the Negative Man was like screwing around with him because he kept having him wake up in front of this one video, and then realized that no, the Negative Man is trying to communicate with him. Showing him, evidently the Chief had a way to communicate with the Negative Man when Larry wasn't conscious.
And it involved traumatizing poor Larry.
Yes, which was upsetting. Yeah, all that while, letting Elliot escape and almost kill himself.
And I like that it gave Rita purpose. It was kind of obvious to me that was what was going to happen. Rita was feeling adrift, purposeless, and so of course she's going to reach out to the kid. But I'm glad it happened anyway. I'm glad that she was able to bring him back in, literally, and talk with him. And I hope that they can find a good tattoo removal company, because that's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, and I'm like, Vic just wants to get on with the mission. Vic just wants to fight the Chief. And it's almost feel like every 10 seconds there's another thing that's kind of knocking at the door and interrupting his staff meeting.
Weird things knocking at the door. Very weird things.
Yeah, and that visual of the eye appearing in the sky. That was freaky.
I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, every episode this show has another just a great visual moment that just like brings you back, and this feels like that creepy late 50s, early 60s type of sci-fi that's sort of waltzing into modern day. I love the aesthetics of this show.
Yes, very much. It's good. I am immediately on board with this show, even more so than Titans. I love it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right. Did you have anything else to the episode, or?
No, and we didn't even really have any news for it, so I think we can move into other news.
Okay, news for other shows. What do we got?
All right. Well, just quickly, we mentioned all the finale dates for the other CW superhero shows. Legends of Tomorrow also is airing its finale on May 20th is when we're going to say goodbye to that show. But the good news is we're going to say hello to that show again starting on April 1st as Black Lightning ends its run and Legends takes over that slot.
Ooh, okay. All right. So
as I say that, I don't know if it's taking over. Is it taking over Black Lightning's actual slot, or is just taking the role of the, that number of CW shows that are airing?
I need to go back and check. I actually believe
it was
that
a complicated shuffle they were doing.
Yeah, because I think Legends is actually moving into Arrow's slot, and at the 8 o'clock, and Arrow's moving back an hour to 9.
That sounds right. That sounds right. So they're doing some shenanigans, but it's all happening on April 1st.
Okay.
And ending on May 20th. All right, there's your Legends update. Okay. Moving on to, here's a show we haven't talked about in a while. Krypton. Season 2 has finished shooting. That's the news. That's it. That's the tweet.
All right. So it's finished shooting. And sci-fi is one of those things where, because they do half seasons, let's shoot the whole season before we release anything. So we figure like 6 weeks editing time and everything else. I'm willing to bet they'll be ready to roll this out around June. Maybe even late May, but June or July. I'm thinking Krypton's going to be like an early summer show.
Yeah, it feels like a summer show. It's going to be right around the time that we're like, oh, good, we got a break. We don't have new episodes. Krypton.
Yeah. We'll be in the heart of iZombie and Swamp Thing. And then, I'm hoping they'll wait for all the CW shows to finish in May. But then June or July, kind of like usually when we would expect Preacher to start up.
Yeah. And of course, we still have the question mark of Lucifer. There's a lot of question mark dates out there still for all these shows. So. But yeah, it's nice. It's a nice reminder that Krypton season 2 is coming. We had a big game-changing finale. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that new season heads. Last news of the week is for Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing music.
In a now deleted tweet, Adrian Barbeau says she is returning to the swamp, and then she deleted it. But yeah, it sounds like Adrian Barbeau is going to appear in the Swamp Thing TV show after being in the 1982 Swamp Thing movie.
Or she could just be vacationing in Louisiana. We don't know.
Typically when I go on vacation, yeah, I tweet, great to be returning to the beach. Great to be returning to Chicago. Yeah, maybe she was just really proud and she didn't want to be stalked on vacation. So she's like, oh no, people might know where to find me. That's not delete.
But I think it would be cool to see her in that show. I don't know what kind of role. But yeah. Adrian Barbeau. All right.
Yeah, that's that. I love it when the shows reference, actors. And I think the CW has been really good about doing that, bringing in people who've been prominent in other properties in the past. And I don't know that we've seen the DC Universe do that as much, but it's cool. Swamp Thing, cool. Adrian Barbeau. And that is the news.
All right. So we did a show.
We did a show.
All right. Well,
and a pretty zippy show. Good for us.
Yeah, we got through it. All right. Now we just got to head to the finish line with our winners for the week.
You want me to go first?
Okay.
All right. For me, the winners this week are the delightful guest stars we got in a couple of shows. Adrian Paul on Arrow as Dante was sexy knife-throwing menace. Mark Sheppard on Doom Patrol was just a throwback to a character he's played for years on Supernatural that I loved, who has left that show and this popped up to be British and mysterious and slightly cracked on Doom Patrol. And I adored both of those. So I don't know that we'll get to see Mark Sheppard again. I think we'll get to see Adrian Paul again, but yes to both of them.
All right. And my winner for the week was Lala.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed his storyline on Black Lightning. I thought it gave a whole new energy and dimension to that show. And yeah, I feel really bad for him and I want to see more of his story.
He's tortured. I want more of it.
I want to see the resolution. Because what's funny is as he's driving, you see, Bill and Lawanda are still arguing in the back seat, and Earl is not there, which means Earl's kind of hanging in the background, which means he's the one that's going to torture Lala the most. Yeah.
Basically, we were really happy with the episodes this week. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, DC.
Yeah. Good stuff. And next week, I think Gotham is taking off a week. So we're gonna have 5 next week. But there's seasons. We're back in full form. Everything's cooking.
Cooking with gas. I don't know. I'm sorry.
There we go. All right. Well, I think that's gonna be the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
And I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam.